It's a cruel, cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer, now we're gone. The city is crowded, my friends are away, and I'm on my own. It's too hard to handle, so I gotta get up and go. It's a cruel, cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer, now you're gone. You're not the only one. It's a cruel, cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel, cruel summer, now you're gone.
Stream, I'm on it. Hi. How's everybody doing, man? It's me, Uncle Bill, your favorite co-host of the world famous Dead Pit Radio Show, and I'm about to show you a bunch of shit that I bought from Shout Factory that hopefully is not flammable and doesn't burn down my house, or possibly like just I get stuck to it like in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 where she's in the Roach Motel and I'll try to get up. Like I go in there to get my Scream Factory discs, right? And I'll grab like one of them with each hand and then I'll get stuck to it. And then my face will fucking go down into another one and then it'll just pull my skin off to show my skeleton underneath. That's one of the dangers you got to keep in mind with Scream Factory's discs. One of the many dangers, other than just lube. I mean, it's also good for, if you want to have a Saturday night, you just want, cut to the chase, man. Just get you a Scream Factory disc, open that sumbitch up, and you've got like a jar of Vaseline, basically. So I don't know, like these are Shout Select. Like, I don't know if these are the same. Somehow doubt it that these are not going to have the extra lubey editions of like the Scream Factory titles do. These Shout Select titles that I'm getting ready to show you. I don't know. But we'll find out together because I'm going to open some of these. And this is, by the way, these discs I ordered anyway, probably 3 or 4 months ago. No, it would have been 1 or 2 months ago probably. Whenever Shout had that sale on where they were like selling all the Shout Select stuff. And these never go on sale. Not to my knowledge did Shout Select like ever go on sale up until this point. And that I had seen anyway. And I just really wanted to get some of these titles. And I'm not just going to do the shit where like I just go through the titles and here's a bunch of shit that I got that you don't have, so fuck you and I'm killing. Like there's nothing in the world more boring and just aggravating to me than videos like that where they're like, here's this shit I bought. Did you get it while it was fucking whatever? Because I got it and you didn't. That makes me better than you. Nobody gives a fuck. The only person that gives a fuck about stuff like that are the people that buy that fucking shit. That's the only people that give a fuck. So, anyway, I'm going to go through the chat here real quick. And I doubt seriously that this will be monetized because I've said fuck like 13 times in the past 30 seconds. But Crash is on here. He's asking me if I watched all the movies that, because I had the Uncle Bill challenge for those people that don't remember. That was where you couldn't buy another movie until you watched all the movies that you had that had never been unpackaged. And of course I didn't fucking do that because it's a sale. So here's my pledge to you. I'm going to watch every one of these movies within the next 2 weeks. That's what I'm telling you right now. Rambo's in here, man. It's great to see you again. Always awesome to have Rambo in here. I'm glad you like that shirt. I watched the video with the... I watch a lot of your videos, just unknowingly. I don't comment on a lot of them, but I watched the video where you got the unboxing of the shirt. And I've watched a lot of the stuff, especially the Predator ranking series, which is great. Everybody check out Rambo's shit if you haven't, because he's an awesome guy. Let's see. Ryan Atkins is in here. He's got some great ideas for the new Cronenberg show. I'm going to talk about that at the end of this. Ken Carlson. It's great to have you in here. Guest for Vinegar Syndrome's September Major 70s Horror 4K. Eaten Alive, maybe. Give me some ideas. Like, what's the hint? They usually give you some hints. Mayor says they need to change their name to Grease Factory. Yes, they do. This is the last day of Cruel Summer, really. So that's the last time I can really use that with any kind of impact. My Killer Podcast is on here. I'm about to drop some shouts. I'm going to shoot out to everyone. Manic Exorcism. It's always great to have you in here, man. What's the haul tonight? Well, we are about to find out. I bought a lot of shit. I spent upwards of like $250 some on this shit. I don't even fucking know why either. I'm still paying for it on those like 4 weekly payments, or the 4 easy payment thing. Listen, it's an illness. It's like any other addiction, and anybody that buys this shit knows that. Like, and a lot of these companies, especially Scream Factory, exploit people that have this kind of sickness to buy this stuff. And then they give you, you spend $40 on a fucking Blu-ray from them, and they give you what amounts to hog snot in your Blu-ray. I'm just saying. I don't know if Shout Select is like that. We're going to find out. MacBoy Color, it's good to have you in here. Carlos. Orderly, man. Yeah, Phantasmat. Yeah. Afro Whale, it's good to have you. I'm going to lose my place in this shit because StreamYard's like, chat function sucks. Holland Oates, good to see you. Saturn Videos, always good to have you. Gus, great to have you. Punisher and Batman fan, never heard of you before. It's good to have you in here. Joe Jack, did I like Ebola Syndrome? Yes, oddly enough, I did like Ebola Syndrome. It's one of those movies, it's like, it's too upbeat and goofy to be taken seriously, and I think if that wasn't the case, that would be a really hard movie to watch because there's a lot of horrible shit in it, but ultimately, it's just like a really fast-paced, fun movie to watch. Charles Rollins, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Cinemurdrum. Twisted Truckers in here. What's up? Not a whole hell of a lot. Ah, the shirt. Yeah, this is an old... Let me take this off here. This is an old T-Shirt Joe joint that he designed that I found. This shirt's probably 15 years old. No shit. I found it in a batch of like old Dead Pit related shirts that I had in storage, and I took them out, washed them all, and I'm going to start wearing them again because I actually kind of prefer this style of shirts now for some reason rather than the shirts that cost $400 and have a design by some artist. I'm just in a bitchy mood tonight. You're just going to have to fucking deal with it. Anyway, I'm going to keep going through some of these real quick. Bombastic Reviews, good to have you in here. Sean Allen, good to have you in here. Sean Allen. I wonder if that's the Sean Allen I'm thinking of. There's a Sean Allen that lives around here. If so, then good to see you. Mike, look forward to reading the book as well. Mike sent us a couple of books, and we will be reading those shortly. All right. JS, 1,000 Meter Films. There's a lot of fucking people in here right now, and I'm trying to, like, get to everybody. Chris V, good to see you. Arnie Slab, doing great, man. Good to have you in here. Everybody is down with the sickness, Stuntman Mark. So you got to get up and get down with the sickness. So let's get up and get down with it right now, shall we? And then we can talk about whatever. If you want to talk about, I brought up the news. There's not that much news or shit anymore, but anybody that wants to comment on anything, this would be the show to do it. I'm going to talk about these movies as well. And while you're in there, while you're in here, you can go ahead and gently caress the like button and the bell and the badger. There's a badger on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Whatever else silliness they got on, or don't. I don't give a fuck if you do or not. All right, let's get started. So, I bought a lot of shit. Shout Select. I actually prefer Shout Select nowadays, the titles that they release, as opposed to Scream Factory. I'm probably never going to buy any more Scream Factory stuff after this shit, unless I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that at the end of this stream to think about if there's anything that Scream Factory could release that I would actually buy at this point. We'll come back to that. But the first one is Summer School with Mark Harmon. I saw this damn film probably 100 times when I was a kid. And it's one of the only mainstream films that I can ever remember, just like a mainstream comedy, that actually has horror characters, like horror nerds in it, with Chainsaw and Dave. Like, you just never saw, you didn't even see that at that, you saw it more at that time, I guess, maybe in a couple movies than you did any other time, like now. But this movie is a classic. It's basically about Mark Harmon takes over this summer school class that he doesn't want to teach. He's a gym teacher, and all the students are dickheads and fuck ups, and it's an inspiring tale where he gets them all together and they, pass this test. But really, what makes this movie awesome is the supporting characters in it. Like, the supporting cast in this movie is great. So this actually does have something new on it, which I'm amazed considering Shout Factory's propensity to not ever do that now. School's in for summer, an interview with actor Richard Stephen Horvitz. I don't know who Richard Stephen Horvitz is, if we're being honest, but I'm wondering if that's not Chainsaw. Somebody in the chat that knows more about it than me can tell me. Also, the music in this movie was done by Danny Elfman, so take that for what you will. This is like one of my favorite comedies of that era. Yeah, Rambo says Carl Reiner, who did a shit ton of great movies too. Reiner was a great director for stuff like this. So Dean Cameron is Chainsaw, you're right. So who is Richard Stephen Horvitz? Who is his character? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll never know. Yeah, Lepke. I didn't know that either until I got this and was looking at it. But Danny Elfman did the music to this. Yep. Richard Horvitz is the high-pitched nerd. Oh, okay. He voices Invader Zim. I did not know that. And Summer Rental. Yeah, Carl Reiner directed Summer. That's another classic. Anyway, we'll come back to that one. This is one that I also watched on HBO like 100 million times when I was a kid. And is not as bad as the movie as everybody made it out to be at that time. Plus, it's got Digital Underground in it. I mean, it's got Digital Underground in it. You know what it is by now. It's nothing but trouble. I mean, come on. So, for those of y'all that don't know anything about this movie, which is probably nobody in this chat, this was a huge bomb. Dan Aykroyd wrote and directed this movie, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and it was just one of those movies that came out at the. It's like Hudson Hawk or something like that. Like it just got destroyed when it came out critically, and nobody really like cared anything about it. And it got picked up when it went on cable. When it went on cable, like people like me at that era, that age, just kind of latched onto it, and it's just it's infinitely quotable film. And most of the quotes come from Dan Aykroyd. There's some good ones from like Chevy Chase too, but most of the great quotes in this movie come from Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, like spiders and birthday cake, and there's like everything in the world that he says. There's a new interview with Aykroyd on this, and a new interview with Chevy Chase, and a bunch of people that were part of the production. And so I picked that one up too. That glare is kicking my dick in. Kane Hodder worked on this, no doubt. Okay, let's see. So Kane Hodder apparently worked on this movie too. So Gus wants to know, and here's what we're going to do. Let's open this son of a bitch up, because I don't give a fuck collecting a bunch of shit I ain't going to ever fucking watch. I'll leave that to the other folk. Let's open it up and see if there's any grease in it. Nothing but trouble. First time opening it. Just took the cellophane off of it. No. This is actually a pretty awesome insert. And there is absolutely nothing on it. And there's nothing on the disc. So, bravo to Shout Select for not splooging inside of my Blu-ray. I appreciate that. For those people that want to watch something that's just incredibly goofy and kind of like a dark comedy, they made a lot of dark comedies during this time period too, like the late 80s, early 90s. And like this is a great one. So there's that. This next one, without a doubt, 100%, has my favorite ending in any action movie, I think ever. There's a couple. I'll give you a three-way kind of thing for like my favorite action movie endings. Death Wish 3 is one, and if you know that ending, then you know what I'm talking about. This one is definitely one, and I think that another great one is Invasion USA. Because it has Invasion USA has one of the best recurring lines, like catchphrases, ever. That actually comes like to pass at the end of the movie. So, you know, those people that are in the know with Invasion USA. But this is my favorite ending to any action movie. It's a great movie. It's one of the most overlooked movies. This is Nighthawks. First time I saw this movie was, I don't know, when did it come out? It came out in 81. I probably didn't see it till like the late 80s, early 90s. I was absolutely blown away by the ending of this movie. I just thought, like, what an interesting way to go about that. And Rutger Hauer is flat out amazing. Everybody talks about Blade Runner and this and that, but this is one of his best roles too. Like, this is an amazing role for him. Wait, Phantasmat. You say, hold on. This has been on your watch list for you. Haven't seen this movie? What the shit, man? Stallone does great in this movie. Yes, he does. Top five Stallone. It's. I swear it's in my top five too. Nighthawks is baller in another universe with Mrs. Fifth ending. Yeah, this movie was not like, this is not a First Blood kind of Rocky success. It's not, I don't even think it's a Tango and Cash kind of success. But Nighthawks is amazing. There's new interviews on this one with a bunch of different people. Just the fact to have this movie though, and I haven't seen it in a long time. It's a great, great movie. I haven't seen this one in the next series in a long time either. But me and CK used to watch this at his house when it first came out on DVD, or I guess when we first realized it was out on DVD. I'm not sure which one. These movies are insanely shitty and cheesy and a product of a specific period in time where like this became kind of like those Every Which Way But Loose movies. Like it became a very specific subgenre that got popular for a very brief period of time, and that was the fighting hippie subgenre. So this is the Billy Jack collection, and the complete collection includes The Born Losers, Billy Jack, The Trial of Billy Jack, and Billy Jack Goes to Washington. Now, I've seen Billy Jack, and I've actually seen The Trial of Billy Jack. I have not seen Billy Jack Goes to Washington or The Born Losers. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, like, there's something about these movies that's... it's fun. It's just a fun set of movies. Like the hippie that's a pacifist that doesn't want to fight, but these people encroach on the territory and make fun of the Native Americans, so he's got to whip everybody's ass, and he knows karate and whatnot. Yeah, these and the Walking Tall movies are like products of a bygone era that'll probably never be back. Like that '70s era of vengeance vengeance movies. But if you don't own any of these movies, this is the perfect like thing to buy. Really, yeah. Macboy Colors says I've not seen this. Born Losers is great. Mayor says that he loves the Billy Jack movies. Yeah, Rambo. If you haven't seen these, like he it is like Steven Seagal on Deadly Ground, except these movies are a little bit better than the Steven Seagal on Deadly Ground. I like On Deadly Ground okay, but these are pretty good for that time period. There's nothing new on this, of course. There's a couple audio commentaries, but they're from older editions. I had I had some sort of box set of this at some point in time. It was on DVD. But yeah, everybody's always forcing Billy Jack to whip their ass. It's basically like, if I could summarize these movies in one sentence, that would be it. Just people forcing Billy Jack to whip their ass. Because he doesn't want to. He's a pacifist. He does not want to throw down. Anyway, there's that. Great underrated comedy that I saw in the theater. Two great actors. It's almost very like Airplane reminiscent. But didn't really do well either. Oh, well, real quick though, Rambo says, did Tom Laughlin do any movies other than those? I don't know. I don't know a lot about Tom Laughlin's stuff, but he did pass away. Sadly. And he's gonna kick you in the side of the head and ain't shit you can do about it. But anyway, this next one is Dragnet. Y'all gotta remember this one. This was the remake of the TV show, or I guess it's not a remake per se, but it's like a movie reboot of the TV show, where Dan Aykroyd plays like the real straight laced by the book detective to Tom Hanks's kind of, messy. It's that kind of dynamic. Oh, God, there's so many great one liners. Like, people could just start throwing one liners from this into the chat because there's like a million of them. Tom Hanks is great in this. I think Dan Aykroyd's great in this. The guy that plays the villain is great in this. I think it's Christopher Plummer. And Pagan and all that stuff. What is people for the people against goodness and niceness or something like that. Anyway, this movie. So I was in a theater when I would have been 7, and I've never forgotten it. It's a great film. It's a great comedy from an era when all Tom Hanks was doing at this time was comedies. And he was really good just as a comedic actor anyway. So this one's got a quiet evening in the company of Connie Swell, an interview with Alexandra Paul, and a new audio commentary with some guy some pop historian that don't matter. Yeah, but buy this though because it's killer. Directed by Tom Mankiewicz. Infinitely quotable film. So people are saying, yeah, a reimagining of Dragnet. Yeah, Dabney Coleman is killer in everything, which is really weird because Dabney Coleman wasn't really like a star for very long. It didn't seem like. He had 9 to 5, which he was amazing in. He had Short Time, which is where he thinks he's dying, so he's trying to like do all this stuff like before he dies. And just this and Cloak and Dagger. But yeah, he really hit it out of the park in all the stuff that he was in. Yeah, I do too. No, like I think he was better during this era than he is now with all this kind of smoltzy shit that he does. I think in a lot of ways Forrest Gump kind of ruined him to where he's kind of just in that pigeonholed into that. Okay, let's see what else we got. I gotta go through these. Another one that I love, I can remember the opening scene of this movie. I don't know why. Like, it just kind of always one of those scenes that like sticks with me. This was Cheech Marin's first kind of foray, I think, into films without Chong. And it's a fucking classic, man. It's a banger, as the kids say. Born in East L.A. It's got the song. Y'all remember the song? I think Cheech Marin sings it. The Born in East L.A. song. And it's great. And he did another movie that I hope is on Blu-ray. I don't have it, but I wish I did because I used to love this movie for some reason. It's just one of them movies that like, it's one of those movies that like you shouldn't like it, but you do for some reason. Like it just gets stuck. Like it's one of those just kind of get stuck at the right time in your brain. He did a movie called Shrimp on the Barbie, which is about him. He's in Australia for some reason, and like he meets Emma Samms, I think, and they like fall in love, and then Vernon Wells, the guy from fucking Road Warrior, is the heel in it, and he ends up like he's like trying to like mess with him and get him in all this trouble and stuff. It's a great movie. I think that Cheech Marin did like a lot of really good movies aside from the Cheech and Chong movies that people don't really fucking seem to care about, but this is a great one. And it's got an audio commentary by him, and a new audio commentary by him, and a new audio commentary with him, and interviews with Paul Rodriguez and Cheech Marin, and yeah. So, Born in East LA is great. Probably watched this 8,000 times. This is one of the few that I got a slipcover with of this batch that I bought. I probably watched this movie 1,000 times when I was a kid too. Had to be right around the time it came out. So we're talking 80s, sometime in the 80s. Anyway, Joe Dante directed this. It's got special makeup effects by Rob Bottin, and it is a criminally underlooked film. But this is Explorers. And from what I can remember of it, because I haven't seen this in a long, long time, it's the story of like a group of kids that one of them builds like a spaceship, which is this thing, out of like used parts and TVs and things like that. And they end up going into space because it works, of course it does. And they meet this alien who's kind of like, I think all he's done is like watch TV from Earth. And so he just recites like, impressions of people from Earth, from TV on Earth, I mean. And it's the alien himself, the design is really fascinating to watch too, that Rob Bottin did. Rob Bottin, for those people that don't know, is the guy that did the makeup for The Thing and The Howling and a bunch of other stuff, Robocop. So this movie is a banger as well. River Phoenix is in it, and Ethan Hawke, who looks like he's about 12 in this, which is just bizarre to look at him then and then like see him doing stuff now. What a great movie though. It's kind of like it's not like Stand By Me, but it has the same kind of feeling of that time period. And it does come with the squish. Fucking shit. So it's got the home video and theatrical cut and a new documentary that includes interviews with Joe Dante, screenwriter, and Ethan Hawke. Some new deleted scenes too. Highly recommend this one. People that grew up in the 80s especially. Dick Miller is in it, yeah. It's a banger, but is it bussin'? It is bussin', yeah. Oh God, I forgot about that. See, that's how long it's been since I've watched this. Yeah, there's a sister alien that's constantly trying to bang River Phoenix, which is bizarre because I think River Phoenix is like a preteen in this or something. Anyway, it's that kind of movie. Pizza Well. Mystery Goo. I just opened one of these to show that for some reason Shout Select does not contain the mysterious mystery goo on their inside covers. Why is that? I do not know. Their discs are not nasty. So it's just Scream Factory. Scream Factory are wonderful company. It's a wonderful company that releases quality entertainment that is in no way ripping people off and does not have just tons of manufacturing errors. None of that is happening. Yes, an alien cougar. Up next is a comedy from the 70s that might be my favorite comedy from the 70s, and if you don't know about it, then fuck you. It's The Jerk. Steve Martin's best film. Fight me. It's his best film. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is fine. It's great. Whatever. This is his best film. I promise you, Bernadette Peters is in it. She's great in it. Everybody in this movie, come to think of it, is... all the character actors in this movie are great. Guess who directed this, by the way? Rambo, can you guess who directed this ultimate classic comedy? Carl Reiner. That's right. The same guy that we were just talking about that directed Summer School a decade later directed The Jerk, which has some of the funniest shit in it. You'd never ever be able to make this movie now. Everybody knows why, but it's a product of that era, and it's one of the most hilarious movies ever made. It's up there to me with like Airplane, Holy Grail, Hot Shots. I always love comedies like that, by the way. Just like that Zucker Brothers style. This is not like, I mean, it is like that. It's not a Zucker Brothers movie or anything like that, but it is very much kind of in that vein. So, yeah, Carl Gottlieb actually, I was looking at this, he actually helped write the screenplay. Carl Gottlieb is also the guy that I'm pretty sure wrote the screenplay for Jaws, or at least one of the passes for the screenplay for Jaws. But The Jerk, if you haven't seen it, I don't even know how to explain it. It's about a guy that comes from a poorer family, let's say, and he grows up and he makes an invention, which is just like a thing that helps like your glasses stay on, which I need really, really badly right now. And becomes a millionaire, but then like he's too stupid, like he loses all of his money because it causes people to go cross-eyed. And the movie is really just about like his adventure, through all that. And people, a lot of people on here are talking about it, which I can't post any of these. But yeah, there's The Jerk. All right, I got this is another one that I got a slipcover for when I ordered all this stuff, and I've never seen this movie, but I've always wanted to see it. So I've heard really good things about it, and it's got David Duchovny in it, and it's I don't see how that can go wrong really. This is California, not one of them old shitty Red Hot Chili Pepper songs. This is just the movie California. I can't stand the Red Hot Chili. Just as a side note, if anybody has raped the state of California and mined it for all that it's worth, more than the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I don't know who you are. But that style of music is just like Dave Matthews Band to me. Like, I don't understand what anybody was thinking around that time period, listening to that shit, but we did. We all did. But I've never seen this. I've never seen California. So hopefully it turns out to be good. I just went ahead and blind bought it because it's got a great cast. I mean, you've got friggin' Brad Pitt, Juliette Lewis, David Duchovny, Lynn Bam Bam Bigelow is one of the producers, and it's directed by Dominic Sena. So hopefully this turns out to be awesome. There's a lot of people putting it over on here. Yeah, California is great. California is awesome. That slip has been around for years now. I don't really give a fuck about slips if we're being honest. Uh, love California. The cast is superb. And yeah, man. So check this out too. I will check that out. Oh God. Words can't really explain how much I love this next movie though. And it's one that I watched when I was younger too, but didn't really like fully appreciate it until I watched it like a bunch of more times when I got like much older. You just don't really get movies like this like until you watch them later on in life. But it has this movie has one of the best villains, the best heels ever, and it's well acted by both leads too. This is 3 O'clock High. For those people that have not seen 3 O'clock High, man, that is an ultimate classic. It's basically just like two people. I mean, there's more people than that in the movie, but the movie hinges on two people and like their relationship. So it's Casey Zemesco, who is the kid, and Richard Tyson, who's Buddy Revell. And so here's basically the story. Like, and it's kind of like a Ferris Bueller. That's the way that the pacing is done in the movie, and some of the things that are done in the movie happen, right? Like it's a Ferris Buellerish kind of world, I guess you could say. But the real story of the movie is that this new kid comes to town. He's supposed to be like the ultimate badass, and Casey Zemesco's character Jerry kind of like inadvertently pisses him off, and he's like, "We're gonna fight today after school, 3 o'clock," and the whole rest of the movie is just him trying to figure out different ways to get out of having to fight this guy until he ultimately like has to fight the guy. It's just so well acted by both those guys. It's just I cannot tell you like how much I recommend this movie. And a lot of people haven't seen this movie because it didn't like I don't think it blew the skirt off the world at the time period that it came out, but like Buddy Revell's just one of those characters that you'll remember forever like after you see this movie. So, yeah, movie Junkie John. It's basically a high school western. That's a great way to put it. Phantasmat, you haven't seen The Jerk? Are you talking about The Jerk or are you talking about 3 O'Clock High? Because if you haven't seen 3 O'Clock High, I mean, you're going to come to blows watching shit like The Sorcerer and you ain't seen 3 O'Clock High. Come on now. Stuntman Mark knows. Mitch Pileggi does pop up. Mitch Pileggi was Skinner from The X-Files. He pops up in the movie as the security guard. Like, that's a hilarious scene, too. Let's see what else I got. Oh, yeah, you all know this next one. I don't even have to really, like, I don't have to announce this one or really talk about it. It's like, it's another Joe Dante joint, I'm pretty sure. Listen, to me, like, Joe Dante is the king of unappreciated filmmakers. Like, filmmakers that made movies that were so far ahead of their time that they nobody appreciated them until like years later. I mean, like The Burbs is one of those style movies. Like nobody really knew what to make out of this movie. It's like a dark comedy about a suburban, community where Tom Hanks lives, and this weird ass family is there. I think they move in, and then like it's just about the paranoia of what they think is going on. And I believe Courtney Gaines from Children of the Corn is like the head neighbor or whatever. Corey Feldman's in this. It's just a classic movie. I think Garrett on Born to Be Rad did like a breakdown, like a kind of like I was doing with a lot of those freaking films, like a dissection, if you will, of like The Burbs. Okay, they can quote every like scene from the movie, so it's great. Though it's got a new 2K scan, and that's all that's new on this one. It's got old commentaries and shit like that on it, but it's just like one of those ultimate kind of dark comedies from that time period, early '90s, I think, late '80s, early '90s, that criminally underrated. I saw this at the theater too, man. I saw this one at the theater, and nobody gave a shit about it. Everybody hated this movie when it came out. Like, people can say whatever they want to now, but at that time period, the kids that were going to see this movie, like, everybody just shit on this movie. But, yeah, people talking about Henry Gibson is great in this. What's his name? Bruce Dern is great in this. Bruce Dern is criminally underrated as an actor anyway. Anyway, we'll keep it going. I got about 15 minutes into this. Okay, so I bought this next one because one of my favorite people to listen to do interviews is, there's two of them actually. I got into a jag where I was listening to directors do like just Q&As and things like that. There was two of them that like are my favorites. First one's Freakin', and that's probably what inspired me to do the Weekend at Freakin' show that you can still check out and everything on the YouTube page. But the other one was John Landis. So say what you want to about Landis, about the whole situation with him in the Twilight Zone movie, but in terms of being an entertaining dude to talk to and an entertaining guy to watch do like interviews, he's like one of the best. He's just got like an encyclopedic kind of mind for film, and he's a great storyteller, and he just constantly like keeps things going. So he kept talking about this movie, and I've never seen it and hadn't even heard of it. And I think it was a huge bomb when it came out anyway. But I went ahead and bought it for that reason. And this is Into the Night. For those people that have seen this movie, I haven't seen it, and nor do I have any idea anything about it. So, give me an idea if it's good, bad, amazing, horrible. I think this is the first time it's ever been on Blu-ray. I think. But this has got, as you can see from the front of it here, it's got Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's one that I've never seen. So everything on this is new. It's a new restored master, a new John Landis documentary kind of thing, and a new interview with Jeff Goldblum. And so I'm looking forward to checking this out though, because I love movies like this, little known movies about these kind of directors. So Rambo says it's a lesser version of After Hours. What's up, mid level? How you doing, man? That's the boy right there, the boy with the toys. So Mel bought it and hasn't watched it either. That's not surprising though, Mel. Let's be honest. You're gonna have a stack of shit in your house that you could plaster the walls with yet watch soon. Get on that shit. The story of Home Sweet Home is Into the Night. Wow. So some people say it's pretty good. Uh, David Cronenberg has a cameo in it. I did not know that. Jesus, the comments are moving too fast for me to even like click on one of them. Into the Night is decent. Well, so it must not be great. Kenneth, if I may, I feel like you missed out on these because like these are some pretty fucking killer like cult films. Like that's what I think of about Shout Select. They seem to be just like releasing the cult films from the 80s and 90s, which to me is infinitely more kind of intriguing right now than the shit they're releasing from Scream Factory. All right, we got a couple more. Watched this with my dad when I was a kid. I'll watch anything with Kurt Russell. It's a great comedy. Used Cars. It's just now coming out on 4K. There ain't no reason to buy a movie like this on 4K. It doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever unless you're just one of them people that buys like 15 different versions of the same movie. And there are people that literally buy like 15 different versions of the same movie just to be like, I got this one with this slip cover on it, and then I got this one with this slip cover. This slip cover is silver. This one's blue. Watch the fucking movie, would you? The only thing new on this though is a interview with writer producer Bob Gale. No, you can't beat Kurt Russell. Everybody, listen. Follow Mel on Letterbox so she won't feel bad about all this shit that she's not watching. So just follow her because it makes her feel better. When you said Kurt Russell, I thought you were going to pull out. Oh, man. Is Captain Ron part of the Shout Select? Because I would buy that too. You ready for this? I don't think you are. I don't think any of you are ready for this. For the people of my generation, this movie was like a coming of age film. Everybody's seen this movie that came from the 80s. It's the Wizard. It's the goddamn Wizard. I, do I really need to explain anything else about the Wizard? I don't think I do. Basically, it's a movie made by Nintendo. Which, if you were born in the 80s, that's like all you need to know because that was everything that you did. 1989, it's got a new 4K transfer. You know what it is. You know what it is. The Power Glove, Super Mario Brothers 3. It's like Mac and Me except for Nintendo. That's kind of what it is. Buy the Wizard. Buy it. If you have any interest in that time period. Even if you're not, from the 80s, so to speak, it's a great time capsule kind of movie about how goofy shit was back then. Yeah, mid level. That will get a 4K soon, I guarantee you're right. But there's some shit that don't need a 4K. There's some shit that's just fine on Blu-ray. And there's some shit that's fine on Blu-ray, especially when it's on sale. Introduce Super Mario Brothers. Yes. CK saw this in the theaters. I don't remember. I don't think I saw this in theaters. Yes, the Power Glove is infinitely like horrible. One of the worst video game accessories of all time. I had the Power Glove, and I also had that piece of shit thing they made for the Super Nintendo that was like a bazooka, and neither one of them worked. So they just didn't work. They were junk. Fred Savage is in it. And who's the kid? Who is the main kid? He's doing conventions now, I think. Oh, God. The hell's the kid's name? It's got everybody else in it except the kid. Christian Slater is in this, as is Bo Bridges as well. U-Force. I don't know what a U-Force is. The Super Scope. Yes, that's what it was called. It was the bazooka. Yeah, this is a good idea, CK. We need to do a commentary for the Wizard. I'm fixing up the room here shortly where I'm going to wheel in a TV and a Blu-ray player and everything so we can do commentaries and I can actually watch the shit like that because it's getting really annoying to try to watch it on the computer, so... I hope everybody's up for that commentary. I've got 2 more. Ooh, baby. I haven't seen this movie since it came out, and I don't remember it being good. But it's a Dino De Laurentiis joint, so I had to buy it, and it's got Christian Slater in it. Y'all remember Cuffs? Anybody? Anybody remember Cuffs? With Christian Slater and Mila Jovovich. You know, the chick from Resident Evil. She's done like 15 Resident Evil movies, which... I know Anthony's in here somewhere, I think. Man, like, I know you're really into Resident Evil, but you can't like those movies, can you? Like, those movies are just dog shit. Like, every one of them, too. There's like 10... It's like the Saw movie franchise or something. There's like 10 of them. But they're also... like, all awful. I don't remember if Cuffs is awful. Like I said, I don't remember a lot about it. I know I've seen it. Christian Slater's one of those guys, like, I don't know what happened with him. Like, his career was just, he was like a mid-level wrestler, you know? That's kind of the way I would explain Christian Slater. He's like a poor man's Charlie Sheen. It's just, he was mid-level his whole career. He had like a couple of roles that kind of were in A-list movies, but mostly he did shit like this. And now he had some sort of renaissance in a TV show. I don't know. Rambo likes Cuffs. That's good. Uh-oh. So you bought this one and you watched it. Let's see. Yeah, CK's saying that he watched it and he doesn't remember it either. it's one of those movies that must not be just that memorable. Very 90s. I believe that. I'm still going to watch it. A new audio commentary with the director and a conversation with Bruce. It's a new conversation with Bruce Evans, baby. And a conversation with the composer. Like, we all need that. What the fuck? Alright. Of all the shit in the world that I would wish for in my life, a conversation with the composer of Cuffs is like the last thing on that list. Except for maybe a new Rob Zombie movie and for Scream Factory to release anything else. Other than those two things, the composer telling me about the music in Cuffs is way far down on my list. And I don't even want to show this one, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. I do not, because this movie is one of my favorites. And also, I'm going to let you in a little secret. Like, I heart, whatever the kids say nowadays, Deborah Foreman. Deborah Foreman is one of the most underrated actresses. I don't know what happened to her career. I'll never know because she won't do an interview with us. Like, she's really into yoga, and the time that we asked her to do an interview, she was like, "No, I basically just do yoga now." That's no shit. That was her response. Like, "No, I'm not into doing interviews. I just do yoga." It's like, damn, are you like hanging upside down right now? Like, how much yoga do you do to not be able to do like a 30-minute interview? But regardless, at that point in time, probably around 2007 or 8, Deborah Foreman's life was solely based around yoga and yoga related activities. So we couldn't talk to her. But I think that she's one of the most like underrated actresses. She should have been, you know, up there with like a lot of the other A-list actresses of the 80s, but something happened to her career. This was the movie that I first saw her in, and I think that this is like one of the, and I'm going to get My Chauffeur too, because fuck y'all, that's another one. Vinegar Syndrome put that out somehow. That's another Deborah Foreman movie that is a classic comedy, but this one is, and I got the slip for this one. It's Valley Girl. This movie, for the people that don't know, invented that slang that was really, really popular in the 80s of like, you know, oh my God, grody and all that shit. This movie was the one that actually invented that whole kind of dialogue. It's a great movie. I don't fucking look. As a 40-something-year-old man that has no business liking shit like this, there are certain movies that, regardless of like, you know, your age or gender or anything else, you can just tell that the acting and the direction and everything was on point. And this is one of those. This is one of those movies. It's the story of her like falling in love with this like punk rock guy played by Nicolas Cage. And this is Nicolas Cage like looking pretty rough. This is like one. I think this was his first role, if not one of his first roles, where he's like, you know, his teeth are all jacked up. He doesn't. He doesn't. None of the Hollywood movie star qualities that he would later go on to get. Like, he's real rough looking in this movie, and he's it's probably like one of his best films still to this day. It's probably one of his best performances because it's just really real and really believable. And Deborah Foreman's great in it. E.G. Daly's great in it. And so, you know, they meet, they fall in love, and then it's weird because you expect it to go one way, but it goes like a completely different way where she's just like, I gotta dump you because my friends don't like you, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't usually happen in these movies, but that's what happens in this movie. I'm not saying that's the ending of the movie. I'm saying that happens in the movie. Yeah. Yeah, TJ Frizzy. You got to love EJ Daly in this movie, especially. So this one has a new 4K scan, a new Valley Girl in conversation with director who's a woman, Martha Coolidge, and actress E.G. Daly. Greetings from the Valley. Here's the weird part about this. I was looking on the back of this, and it doesn't have anything with Deborah Foreman. Like, there's no interviews, featurettes, anything with Deborah Foreman. So that was really odd to me because she is the star of the movie. Like, I don't know if she just didn't want to talk about it. She's probably fucking doing yoga. Should have known. They called her up and they're like, hey, you want to do the special features on Valley Girl? She's like, oh, I'm in the fucking downward dog right now, son. I can't. Scream Bloody Gore says, I like Deborah as an actress, but not as a person. Do you know her? I'd be curious to know some backstage stories. Valley Girl 4K is coming soon. Uncle Bill tipped the sales to get this movie upgraded. Yeah, it's another movie that does not need a 4K. Mayor says he's 58 and he loves Valley Girl. Well, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. The reboot of Valley Girl, no one like. I tried to watch that movie. It is fucking hard to get through. Rambo says she wasn't on the features for Waxwork either. Waxwork is another one of my favorite horror films that never gets referenced either. So, I'll give you a real quick rundown of Deborah Foreman's work of shit that I love. She did Valley Girl, which I love. She did Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, which I love. She did Waxwork, which I love. And she was in one other fucking movie, too. That was great. And she's great in all those movies. Oh, My Chauffeur. Okay. So that's it. That is all that I've got. If anybody wants to bring up anything other than the stuff that I bought, now would be the time to do it. But that is the physical media stockpile of shit. Yeah, Sundown. That's a great little cult film, too. Has anybody met Deborah Foreman? April Fool's Day. How the fuck did I not remember April Fool's Day? Yeah. Stuntman Mark, you say I need to get Trespass, starring William Sadler and Bill. I remember that movie, directed by. I didn't know Walter Hill directed it though, and I had no idea it was written by Zemeckis. But I remember that movie. Isn't Ice-T in that movie? So let's see. Have I seen Jekyll and Hyde together again? No, I have not seen that, MacBoy Color. Phantasmat says Goblin is doing a tour for Suspiria's anniversary this November. I need to try to make the Pittsburgh day. Yeah, I was looking at that today. The closest they come to around me would be Cleveland, I think. It's either Cleveland or I think it was Cleveland. And I'm just not driving 9 hours to go see. I mean, I've seen Goblin. Saw him in Cincinnati like years ago. It was me and Savannah and Steve and Dana were there too. And that was a great show. So I'm good if that's the closest that they're going to come. Rambo, there's a Blu-ray of American movie coming out finally. Fuck yeah. I always wondered about that movie. Like, that was one that I absolutely loved when it came out. And Kelly Marcotte, who's also from Wisconsin, who did the End of the Pit documentary, used to talk the god-awfulest amount of shit about the guys that made that movie and, like, how it wasn't, like, you know, a good documentary and all this stuff. Just clearly jealous. But it is a great documentary. Scream Bloody Gore, you met Deborah and it didn't go well. Well, give us some details, Scream Bloody Gore. I mean, I'm doubting seriously that she's going to watch this. If it was a fucking, Peloton stream, she'd probably watch the hell out of it. Stuntman Mark, you say Ice-T was in Trespass. Okay. Matt, you're glad that I am too. American movie is like a classic. Do you think Arrow Video will give us Chronicles of Riddick 4K soon? I need that. I need that. Chronicles of Riddick 4K is on the list of things that Arrow is going to release. Fairly sure of that. Matt, I fucking hate that movie. On a short list of movies that I cannot stand, Cool World with Brad Pitt, and I'm thinking it's Kim Basinger. Oh God, I hate that movie so much. Are you going to see Jaws in IMAX 3D? Having seen it twice regular screens and drive-in over the last few years, so hesitant to pay for it. No, but I am going to figure out a way to go see the Dawn of the Dead 3D, wherever the hell it's at. I know it's probably in. It's got to be in Lexington or a couple hours away from where I'm at, basically. And I'm going to figure out a way to see that fucking movie. Yeah, it's really starting to get old with the whole Hitcher Martin thing. It's like, just come out with the shit already. Ryan, am I excited for any new upcoming releases? Yes. You picked two of the ones that I'm most excited about, actually. City of Living Dead in 4K and The Beyond in 4K. Those might be the only two 4Ks that I buy from any of this stuff coming up. I've got the Blu-ray, the Grindhouse Blu-ray of Cannibal Holocaust, so I'm good with that. But something about those, I'm very particular about what kind of 4Ks that I buy because I just don't have the fucking money to be like pissing that away at this point. But there's something about Fulci and Argento movies that lend themselves to like upgrades. The cinematography, the color schemes, the production, everything to those movies. Like I'll buy those as far up as they want to go with them. Like if they want to go to 8K, I'll probably buy the uh, the 8Ks of that. I'm looking forward to Martin. If Martin ever comes out, like I'm definitely going to buy that. Not the Martin, not that one, but the Romero one. Do you think Nightmare on Elm Street will be released by Scream Factory on Blu-ray? Unfortunately, I 100% believe that they will release that. And I say unfortunately because I would rather any company in the world right now release that box set than Scream Factory. But I'm about positive that there's been several people working on that documentary, or not that documentary. Well, there's probably a documentary to go with it too. Been working on special features and the disc for that for months, if not years now. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be coming out soon. You picked up the core. You talking about the Wrestling Alliance, or I'm not sure what the core is. I mean, I remember the core. Jack Frost, have I seen the movie Skin Deep? No, I saw that Severin released it, but I have not seen it. Holy shit. So Ryan says Dawn is playing in Lexington. All right, so I'm going to Lexington. We're packing up. Somebody give me the date. Ryan, if you know the date, give it to me. I'm going to see that fucking movie in the theater. It's going to be a pilgrimage. Anybody that wants to come is welcome to come and meet up with us. Or me. I don't know if CK will go, but I'm assuming he will. Scream Bloody Gore. The Deborah Foreman story is I met her years ago and she refused to sign my waxwork poster and was only selling 8x10 photos for $30 unsigned. If you wanted signed, it was $60. Who the fuck sells 8x10 photos just for what, unsigned? Yeah, that is kind of a dick move. I'm gonna give you that. Shout Select released Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I didn't know that. I saw that when it came out, man. Like, but it's not one that I've ever watched again. I remember it just being like kind of a mess of a film that kind of tonally didn't know what it wanted to be. If it wanted to be like a horror film or a comedy or like a action movie, it was just all over the place. I don't think it was the best movie. The Mayors, I'm going to tell you this one last time. Just one last time. I'm going to tell all of y'all this because there's a lot of people in here. Dario Argento's Dracula 3D is not that bad. It's just not. It's a fairly decent movie. Oh, so Dana's in here. Steve and I are going to New Albany to see Dawn of the Dead. Where is New Albany? Is that northern Kentucky, maybe? Stuntman Mark. Yeah, that would be a hell of a combination. Like John Carpenter and Chevy Chase, two of the grumpiest old sons of bitches that ever lived, like working together. Noah, you're going to talk about possibly not buying any more Shout titles. No, I want to talk about the fact that I'm not going to buy any more Scream Factory titles. Shout titles, like the Shout Select stuff, I'm okay with. The Scream Factory stuff, uh, it's boring. They're releasing the same shit on 4K over and over and over again, like from just shit they just released on Blu-ray. They're not putting any special features on them that's new. They're not doing anything with the discs. They're just jacking the prices up and putting them on 4K. So I'm not buying any of that shit. And I encourage anybody like to not do that as well. If you want to, I don't give a shit. I'm just saying, like, I think it's they basically at this point are just on cruise control and their quality control is non-existent. They don't give a fuck. They're selling trash, basically, like literal trash, shit that's like melting, like the Toxic Avenger. So, if you want to support that kind of thing, you think that's okay, cool. I think it's ridiculous. Um, so, and I was saying earlier, I'm trying to think of a title that if they released it, the only thing I can think of is if they did a box set of the Nightmare on Elm Street shit, and they were, but see, they're not going to do that though. If Scream Factory did Nightmare on Elm Street, what they would do is the same shit they've been doing with Halloween. They'd release like a couple of the movies on 4K, then they release a couple, like 6 months later, they release a couple more, and then they'll release a box set just to gouge the fuck out of people. So no, there's nothing I can think of from Scream Factory that I'd want to buy. Oh, so New Albany, Dana is in Indiana. Why not just go to Lexington? Is New Albany close to Louisville? Yeah, okay. Just over the bridge from Louisville. All right. That's a bit of a haul for me, though. I'm probably going to have to go to the one in Lexington. Matt says about Scream Factory. Apparently, we all love pins now. Dude, unless I'm mistaken, I think I saw this that they're selling, what was it, with the pins? It was like a 4K with a pin set. It was like $94. And it wasn't even a good 4K. And it's like, God damn, man. Matt says Scream Factory is just too lazy and greedy nowadays. I mean, yeah, they've done a lot of shady, borderline kind of like immoral shit, but here lately, with the thing with the disc melting and getting shit all over your Blu-rays and everything, yeah, I'm just done. The mayor says, unfortunately, I'm still going to buy the 4Ks of Return Living. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Mayor, I pre-ordered the 4K Return Living Dead when it was announced, so 2 or 3 months ago, before the Grease Vaseline scandal of 2022. So I'm probably just going to end up getting that one by default. Uh, oh shit, he sent me the info about it. They're showing it at IMAX. CK, if you're still in here, we got to pick one of these and do that. Ah, Scream Bloody Gore. Thank you for the super chat. Dracula 3D is not that bad. See? And that man puts his money where his mouth is. Thank you very much. LA Joel says immoral disc melting. Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, when your packaging melts onto your discs and like they look like they've been slimed by Slimer from fucking Ghostbusters, yeah, that's I'd say the quality control's shit. Also, the fact that they must be spending like a literal cent on these fucking Blu-ray covers at this point. What do you feel when people say you are overreacting about the greasy cases? I feel like those people are marks. So a mark is a wrestling term that just denotes somebody who is overly excited about something no matter what. Like a mark is somebody that they don't care if the wrestler spits on them or is mean to them or what kind of wrestler they are or like what's going on. They're just always going to be a fan no matter what. And if you're that blind to what's going on and you don't, you just want to support bullshit endlessly for no reason, then you're a mark. I'm sorry. I don't even like that term. I think it's a derogatory term. I don't think people should use it, but in this case, I feel like it fits. Halloween 2000. Max in Knoxville. Oh, I'd say that was pretty killer, though, honestly. Why is there still 90 people in here at fucking 11:20 at night? Go to bed. We've all got work. What are you doing? I'm not complaining. I actually am complaining, but like I said, I'm in a bitchy ass fucking mood. Um, uh, Cornette's good at explaining marks. Yeah, I'd say he is. I pre-ordered Return of the Living Dead also last time I ever ordered anything from Scream Factory. Scheme Factory, yep. Sam Crow wants to know, am I getting the Lost Boys? That's another one that I pre-ordered. Although I think didn't Sony or Paramount or whoever released that one. So I don't feel so bad about ordering that one because at least it's not from Scheme Factory. Rambo says you can still enjoy the stuff, but you can also criticize the bad stuff. There's just certain people, man. It's their thing. I don't know if it's real. That's the thing. I don't know if these people are being fake or if this is really who they are personality wise. But there's just certain people who they don't like to say anything negative about anything. And that's not realistic, just in terms of life itself. And then there's other people that have agendas about not wanting to say negative things, meaning that they get screeners from companies or they're afraid that they're going to not, get screeners or they're going to be on their shit list or something. Well, we've been on their shit list when it comes to Screen Factory for like 10 years now. I don't give a fuck about getting anything from them. I don't want anything from them. I don't want something that's going to cause my damn arm to melt off up to the elbow. You know, I'm good. Do you think we will get Dawn of the Dead original on 4K release for US? No, not anytime soon because that whole thing is a rights issue that lays with Richard Rubenstein, and he is notoriously one of the hardest people in the world to work with. So maybe if something, I hate to say this, if something happens to him and the rights transfer to somebody else, maybe, but not while he's still alive, I'm betting. Because the crux of that whole argument is that he wants the 3D version that he spent how many ever $1 million translating Dawn of the Dead into on the Blu-ray, or he won't make a deal with these people. And nobody, that's a dead format. Nobody gives a shit about it. Nobody's going to do it. So, did you pre-order the Fright Night 4K? Yes, I actually did. There's just certain movies. Fright Night's one of them that I'll just buy any version of it. What movies says I say fuck everything. You know, that's kind of where I'm at this point. I mean, nihilistically speaking, I don't really give a fuck. I mean, the truth of the matter is, um, I'm too old to care about a lot of this stuff in terms of like trying to what's the word, be all things to all people and make everybody happy and tell everybody, that all these releases and all these companies are great and they're doing a great job and we should all be thankful that we should all bow down to the altar of anybody that's willing to release anything for us, even if it looks like it was shit on by a gremlin. We should all kiss their ass. I just don't believe any of that. Ah, are you going to see the Eric C. Con series, The Big Con, coming out? I tried every way in the world I could to figure out how to get Apple. I think it's only on Apple Plus, Apple TV, some shit like that. Try to get some version of that, like to watch it, and I can't. I'd have to sign up for like the trial or whatever, I think. But Apple's one of those companies where if you sign up for the trial, like they'll charge you like immediately afterwards, won't like let you get out of it, and probably will come by. It's like that South Park episode, like abduct your children and keep them in hostage. Like it's just not worth it. Twisted Trucker says, I'm still up because I'm about to drive back from Richmond, Virginia. Keep it going for another 4 hours if you can. I'm going to try to keep it going for as long as there's like a shit ton of people in here that want to hear it, I guess. Second Sight did a Return of the Living Dead Blu-ray before, I think, so perhaps they'll do a 4K later. Second Sight is killing it, by the way. I would rather buy shit from them or 88 Films or any of those companies 1,000 times more than something like Scream Factory. I wish we could send that, whatever's in that shit, to be tested. That's not a bad idea, really. Like, if anybody has any way to get the shit tested that's melting inside the cases of Scream Factory's releases, please let me know. Jason Hill says, I'm no Mark, but to me the greasiness is a small thing. I'm sorry, man. As long as it's not damaged, I try not to sweat it. Okay. I mean, I'll say this. I'll try to be magnanimous. Magnanimous? Is that right? I think that's right. One of them's lava, and then one of them means like all things to all people. Um, that's magma. I'll say this. To me, my case is melting and getting a sludge on my Blu-rays that I paid $30 to $40 for is not a small thing. Um, Especially when you consider that at no time that I've ever been aware of has that ever happened to any other disc that I bought, and certainly not anything that I paid that much money for. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even happen to any of these Shout Select discs that I've opened. Um, so I don't know. I just don't consider that to be a small thing when the shit's like just falling apart. But to each his own. Matt says there's a newer Q&A with Bill Freakin on YouTube from 3 months ago. It's worth a watch. I'd watch anything. If anybody in here has not seen a Q&A with William Freakin, you're really missing out. Like, the guy can talk circles around anybody. Jesse asked if I like Kino Lorber. Yeah, I think that they're probably, like, here's what if I could do like a projected kind of thing, like looking into the future about these companies, I think Kino will be like one of the major players in the next couple of years. Like, a lot of the newer stuff that they're coming out with is really, really amazing, and their price point is the best price point in any physical media right now. So I love that about them. Their packaging and stuff like that, it needs some work. It's very bare bones. Some people like that kind of thing. I think the kind of like the benchmark right now is Vinegar Syndrome for packaging and things like that. Um, but Vinegar Syndrome's not releasing the quality of titles that even like Kino is. Movie Junkie John says, to me, the grease isn't even the worst part. The worst part is them not apologizing immediately and replacing it. Yeah, well, that's the second part to the thing. So this is probably, you're right, like the bigger problem. The bigger problem, aside from the fact that the discs are fucking being destroyed, is that their response to this all is like, basically, well, this is just off-gassing. Like, haven't you ever heard of off-gassing? Like, you don't know that exists? Like, that's a thing. You just wipe it off with it. It's like, nobody's ever heard of off-gassing. Nobody has ever talked about off-gassing, except maybe in some obscure message board forum, But in terms of streams, in terms of like, because that shit's never happened before, because nobody would pay a nickel for 5,000 Blu-ray cases that will spontaneously combust except for Scream Factory. And their customer service has always sucked. And they don't give a fuck. In my opinion, humbly. Sam Crow says, did I know they're making a Killer Clowns? I did hear about that. Um, I was asking CK about that because I didn't believe it was real. Like, they would actually make a video game. But really, that lends itself really well to a video game. Um, I think that would be pretty awesome. I would probably actually buy that. Sean Allen says they should do a premium product for what they charge. I think it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Ken says the perfect storm is coming from Second Sight Films, which is Martin, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Hitcher 4Ks. Yeah, that's just saying that out loud makes me happy. So now that there's a lot of people in here, more people than there was earlier even, I'm going to mention that tomorrow night, Dead Pit is doing a Vestron video. The first year, kind of like our world famous Scream Factory series, where we go year by year through these titles. We're going to be doing the Vestron treatment in the same way. And I was looking at a lot of those Vestron first year releases. I think I own all of those. And man, that was an awesome like little period of time there when they were releasing, a lot of really, really good cult titles that not anybody else was really touching at that point in time. But so yeah, tomorrow night, I'm gonna assume it's at 10 on the Dead Pit YouTube channel, so check that out. And if you don't, well, I mean, that's your loss. It ain't none of my business what you do, really. You can do it or not, or you can touch my muffin. I don't care. Yeah, this is great too. You're right, Rambo. Then they were like, well, just clean it off with a paper towel. Yeah, wipe that off, son of a bitch. Daner says that she was lucky that her Child's Play 4K was ungreasy. I don't know how I lucked out, although I got it from Amazon. That might be part of the thing. I don't know. Get it from Amazon. Maybe they have a no grease policy or something. The mayor says his top labels are Kino, Arrow, Second Sight, Blue Underground, and Synapse. In that order, I'd kind of agree with all those too. Okay, yeah, here's a good point. Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome are always like, hey, you guys are getting new discs in the mail. Scheme Factory is like, that sucks. Thank for your money, bitch. So recently, Vinegar Syndrome sent out an email about a title. I can't remember what title it was. It was some shit that I'd never even heard of, which they release a lot of stuff like that I've never heard of and will never remember. But the jux of the email was, hey, we messed up an audio track or something like that. And you don't have to do anything. Don't worry about it. If you bought this, we already know about it, and we've already sent you a replacement disc. That is how you do customer service. You don't go, it ain't no big fucking deal. Get you a rag over and wipe it off, dumbass. Like that's the Scream Factory approach. Or like, listen, we ain't sending you nothing until you fucking show us that it exploded. If you don't have pictures of it blowing up in your house, we don't even care. Shout's poster policy is some real bullshit, though. Yes, it is. When am I going to get a letterbox account? When my children probably go off to college. That's probably around the time that I'll have a chance to do anything on Letterboxd. Uh, Matt says, is the German 4K of TCM still going to be comparable when the second sight 4K comes out? I don't want to double. I thought that German, I've got that in there, the Turbine Edition. Like, I thought that was pretty fucking badass. Like, I'm not going to buy the new 4K because I just don't see the point in it. Um, but I'll buy the 4Ks of everything else that they're coming out with. Holy shit. This is another story, man, that's great. This is why I love doing these because people bring up stuff that I even forgot about. Am I going to support Charles Band and get the Puppet Master game too? The trailer for it actually looks fun. No, I'm not going to support. Have any of you all seen the videos? And if you haven't, then do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube right now and look up Leech Woman 2022 unboxing or something like that. There's all kinds of people that bought this new figure, this new Leech Woman figure from Full Moon, and it was advertised to be the collector's edition. You know, I think it was even advertised as like a better version than the one we put out before, like a better, whatever quality. It looks like, I was telling somebody, like, it makes that Severin Dick Demon look like a fucking Picasso. It looks like a little kid painted it. Like, it really does. Like, it costs like some ungodly amount, like $200, and it's basically like a Barbie doll plastic body with foam on it, a foam head that's been like painted with acrylic paint or something in the worst possible way. Anyway, just look it up. Some of the videos of people like unboxing those things. It's great. So yeah, if you want to like touch my muffin, go over to the bell and you can touch my muffin and ring my bell and slobber on the jobber. You know, it's my new catchphrase. Max Blue Underground is great. See Living Dead, $10 used, and lots of features. Blue Underground, their 4Ks are probably some of the best quality in terms of 4Ks that I've seen. Zombie, all that stuff that they put out on 4K, with the exception of maybe Maniac. That's a hard one to do in 4K though. But yeah, you knew I was going to bring up the leech woman. Yeah, well, yeah. Whoa, man. And CK's pissed off at you because all y'all have only done 58 likes. Shh. God, sorry ass bunch of fuckers. Sam Crow says, yeah, the Henry 4K I got from Arrow needed a replacement disc. I didn't have to do anything. They sent an email saying my disc was sent out. Screen Factory wants your birth records. Yeah. Rambo, yeah, I would just type in like Leech Woman unboxing or something like that. There's at least two or three videos that I came across where there's a guy, a couple different guys like unboxing those. One of them in particular where he goes into detail like about it, and it's great. Gus says Garrett's the fog order shipped and the figure image is still not revealed by Screen Factory. I wonder what it will look like. It could be one of those situations where it's just the fog. Like you remember when they did that? They put like I don't remember who did that, but it was the fog and it was just like a white kind of line. Who knows? LA Jewel says he gave this stream 12 likes and his grandpa like it too. Well, hell yeah. All right, guys. There's still a shit ton of people in here, and I hate to head out, but I ain't got shit else, man. I mean, I can tell you from a news perspective that some of the stuff we already talked about, City of Living Dead's coming out. You know, the Beyond's coming out. Those are the ones I'm most psyched about. Piranha's coming out with a pin set for $94 for Screen Factory. I'm fucking thrilled to death about that. Um, the Exorcist sequel reboot's coming out. Guess what's coming out September the 27th? Does anybody know? Anybody know what's coming out on September the 27th? Real quick before I go. Rob Zombie's Monsters is going to debut on Netflix September the 27th. So everybody get ready. That's not even a month away, man. We've all got to watch that because I am guaranteeing that that is going to be a film unlike anything that you've ever seen. So get your Netflix subscriptions ready. Go out, get you a White Zombie album, yeah, and get ready for it, man. But TJ Frizzy says I knew, but I didn't care. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. But anyway, Look, man, there's been a ton of you on here, and it's been great. Don't forget that tomorrow night, we're doing the Vestron video releases year by year. We're doing the first year, which is probably, in my opinion, the best year. So, check that out. Always check us out over at Dead Pit on Patreon. Anybody have any closing thoughts? Because I really appreciate everybody coming in here and just listening to me bullshit and show these movies. But if not, I'm going to get my candy ass off here and go to bed. Oh, you go by Valley Girl. Support Deborah Foreman. Do it. Look at her. She's got a dimple. Right there's a dimple. Deborah Foreman. Yeah, man, it's been a blast. You got to Alabama Hot Pocket that like button for me now. You got to donkey punch that bell. Support yoga. Support Peloton. Support Rob Zombie. It's good to see everybody in here, but I'm going to head out, man. Check us out on Dead Pit on Patreon, Dead Pit on YouTube, Dead Pit on Instagram, Dead Pit at your mom's house. And I will see you.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to touch nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
For this video officially, and it's Oh Curly Jaws has a message for you. Go on over to shop.deadpit.com and go look at their Teen Public store right now. You got some new shirts like the Oh Curly Jaws official t-shirt, which is brutal and badass. You got the Yummy Gummy shirt with the captain himself on the shirt. You got Uncle Bill's face on a fucking shirt. You got the Final Girl shirt. You got all these shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Get them before they're all out, especially the new one, Bedtime 1039. It doesn't get better than that, so go on out. Check out these shirts at shop.deadpit.com. Go look at their Teen Public store. You're going to have a good old time. Get them all!
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPitOnPatreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.